Hi everybody. In previous video you already discussed about what is root, types of root, and different regions of root. Functions of root. What type of functions? The main functions of root is absorption, mineral and water from the ground, and also fixation or anchorage to the soil, and also absorbing material transfer from up to below the stem region. This one is the main or primary functions of the root. And secondary functions. What type of secondary functions are done by root? Secondary functions of root are by the performing secondary functions by the root. There are modified into different types of their morphological structure. So these are known as modifications of root. Okay, because of the performing some additional functions by the root is modified into different types of modifications. So these are also known as, that means the secondary functions of root are known as modification of root. Understand? So how this root is modified? Performing secondary functions. What type of secondary functions are done by this root? Some like storage of food material, nitrogen fixation, and assimilation. This means perform photosynthesis, and some roots are also perform some additional functions like pathogenic and parasitism, and some roots are perform some anchorage or additional support to the plant, etc., etc. So one by one discuss about the secondary functions of root. This means root modification. Understand? The first one is root for storage. Root for storage. In this, root performs some food material storage. For the accumulation of food material, roots are become swollen. Roots are helpful for storage food material. For storage food material. Suppose the first one is fusiform root. Fusiform root. This fusiform root means nothing but these roots are thicker in the middle. Thicker in the middle and tapering on the both ends. Tapering on both ends. Look like this. Okay. Thicker in the middle, tapering at both ends of this tuber. So this type of roots are known as fusiform roots. Fusiform roots. The best example, that one is radish. One conical root. Conical root. This means these roots are cone-shaped. Cone-shaped roots. These roots are thicker at their upper region, upper end. The upper end is thicker and the tapering at the basal end. Tapering at the basal end. This type of roots are cone-shaped. Cone in their shape. Cone-shaped. Okay. Best example is carrot. Nabiform root. Nabiform root means this root becomes swollen and spherical at upper. Spherical at upper and thread-like at lower end. Lower end is thread-like, upper is spherical and become swollen. Okay, this type of roots are known as Nabi-formed root. The best examples are Brassica nepens and Beta vulgaris. Brassica nepens and Beta vulgaris. Another one, tuberous root. Okay, these root not have regular shape, no regular shape, and get swollen, fleshy at any portion of the root. Any portion of the root becomes swollen and also fleshy. It is not regular shape. They are not have regular shape. This type of roots are known as tuberous root. Tuberous root. The best example is Mirabilis. Another root modification, storage root, is nodulated roots. This means these roots are consist nodules are formed on the branches of root. The root branches, this one is the main root, and lateral secondary root and a tertiary root. So this secondary root consists of some nodules. The storage, there are some nitrogen fixation bacteria. Okay, so nodular roots are formed on branches of root by the nitrogen fixation. We will discuss especially about these nodulated roots. Okay, the best example is legumes. These are the fusiform root, conical root, nabiform root, and tuberous root and nodular roots. These 5 are taproot modification. You already discussed about a taproot. The taproots are mainly modified to form fusiform root, conical root, and nabiform root, and tuberous root, nodulated roots. Okay, these are taproot modification. Another one, these are advances root modification. Advances storage root modifications are advantageous tuberous root. Advantageous tuberous root. These roots are become swollen and also form your branches. Become swollen, and these roots are also branches, shows branches. This type of roots are known as advantageous tuberous root. Advantageous tuberous root, best example, Ipomia batatas. The root storage advantageous root is fasciculated roots. Fasciculated roots. These roots are occurring in clustered manner. Cluster, and all of them are swollen. Every cluster root is swollen, becomes swollen by the accumulation of food materials. So these are no definite shape as a tuberous root. So these fasciculated roots are occurring in a cluster. Every cluster, all roots are swollen. Because of this reason, there are no definite shape. This type of roots are known as fasciculated roots. Best example is asparagus. Dahlia. Advantageous storage roots are nodulose, not nodular, nodulose roots. Nodulose roots. In this nodulose roots, tip of the root swell up. Tip of the root is swell up. Okay, this type of roots are known as nodulose roots. Nodulose roots. The best examples are curcuma and Millilotus, curcuma and millilotus. Advanced storage roots are moniliform roots. These are also called bedded roots. Bedded roots. Because the roots are swell up like bed at different places after a regular intervals. Regular intervals. This type of roots are look like a beds and streams. Understand? Because of the reason these are called bedded roots, these are also known as moniliform roots. The best examples are bitter, whiteys, next one Portuloca oleracea. These are the different types of storage root. Tap roots are storage food materials and become tuberous, and also advanced roots are also accumulate food materials and become swollen. Okay, in this way different types of root star storage food materials. Next one, another root modifications are prop or pillar roots. Prop or pillar roots. These roots are arised from the branches of plant growing downwards from the branches and towards the soil. Okay, these are provide additional supporting to the largest heavy stem for the plants. Okay, this type of roots are known as a pillar like. Okay, of a building unte pillars and support. So this type of roots are especially found in the heaviest, largest plants. Okay, the heaviest branches are supported by these roots. Okay, these are act as pillar supporting like roots. So these are known as prop or pillar roots. Roots are mainly arising from the heaviest branches of the plant. These are grow downwards towards the soil and finally fix it into the soil and provide some additional support to look like a filler. Okay, this type of roots are known as prop or pillar roots. These are especially helpful for additional support stem for the plant. Okay, the best example is banyan tree. The root modifications are stilt or brass root. Stilt root or brass root. These roots are especially arise from the lower nodes of the stem, lower nodal regions of the stem, and enter inside the soil, grow downwards, and enter inside the soil and form a rope-like structure or rope-like structure in this way. A rope-like structure is formed in this lower nodal regions of the stem. This type of roots are also provide additional support to the main stem. Additional support to the stem. This type of roots are known as stilt or brass root. You know, bracelet. Okay. So these roots are also raised around the nodal region, look like a brass. Hence, it is also known as brass root or also stilt roots. Look like a rope-like structure. So these roots are mainly arised from the lower nodal region and also enter into the soil and provide additional support to the stem, and these roots are form a rope-like structure. This type of roots are known as stilt or brass root. The best examples are maize, Also, sugarcane. The root modification, that one is respiratory roots. That means these roots are from respiration. So these are known as respiratory roots. Okay. These respiratory root containing plants are which grow marshy areas. Grow marshy areas. బురదగా ఉన్న ఏరియాలో గ్రో అవుతుంటాయి. And also scarcity of O2 oxygen is formed. Oxygen is formed. Some branches of taproot. These respiratory roots are mainly taproot. Okay. Some roots, some branches of taproot grow vertically upwards and comes on the surface of the soil. And comes on the surface of the ground or surface of the soil. These roots are called pneumatophores. Remember this one? Pneumatophores. Understand? Pneumatophores. Okay? These pneumatophore roots, that means respiratory roots, have minute pores. A small minute pores are present on the pneumatophores. These are also known as nematodes. Nematodes. Understand? Nematodes are lenticels. Nematodes are lenticels. Understand? Okay. These nematodes are lenticels are helpful for gases exchange. This means oxygen is available to the root system to these nematodes or lenticels. Understand? So the oxygen enters to these lenticels for respiration. For respiration. This type of roots are known as respiratory roots. Okay. The best examples are rhizophora. These rhizophora actually consist of taproot system. Taproot system. So this taproot system containing mangrove plants are mainly grow in marshy areas, and some branches of the taproot system vertically grow upwards and comes out of the soil. These roots are known as pneumatophore. These pneumatophores consist of minute pores. These are called nematodes or lenticels. These are helpful for oxygen exchange. Oxygen is easily enter into these lenticels or nematodes, and oxygen is available to these particular marshy area growing plants. This type of roots are known as respiratory roots. The best example is rhizophora and mangrove and also Hericteria. Understand? These roots are taproot respiratory containing plants. Understand? Another one, Avicennia. Another one, Avicennia and Gessia. Avicennia and Gessia. These Avicennia and Gessia consist advances roots. Advances roots. This means nematophores are arised from the advances roots. Root modifications are epiphytic root. These are also known as Walhamin roots. Walhamin roots, because these are easily hang on the other host plant. What is epiphyte? Epiphyte means nothing but plants that are grow on other plants. One plant grow on other plant. This type of plants are known as epiphyte. Epiphyte. Phyta means plant. Okay. Epiphytes means plant that are grow on other plant is known as epiphytes. Epiphytes. Okay. These epiphytes are forms some advances root array. Some advances roots are formed from these epiphytic roots. These are specialized to absorb moisture. Specialized absorb moisture from the atmosphere, because these epiphytic plants are not contact to the soil. They are present on other plant. So these epiphytic plants are arised some specialized roots freely hang on the branch of host. So these roots are absorb moisture from the atmosphere. These roots are such type of roots are known as velamen roots. Velamen roots, because these velamen roots consist a specialized spongy tissue. This tissue is known as velamen tissue. So velamen tissue containing roots are known as velamen roots. These are helpful for absorbing moisture from the atmosphere. Okay, so the epiphytic plants shows some specialized roots. These are known as velamen roots, and other roots are also present. These are helpful for the fix on the other plants. Okay, so these epiphytic roots are consist fixation root and also velamen roots. The main roots are velamen roots. These are consist velamen tissue, velamen sponge-like tissue. It is helpful for absorb moisture from the atmosphere. The type of roots are known as velamen roots. These are especially found in epiphytic plant, hence these are known as epiphytic roots. Understand? The best example is Vanda. Okay, Vanda. See this figure? Another root modification, that one is hostorial root. These are also known as parasitic roots. Parasitic roots are hostorial roots. Okay. In some plants, roots send roots into the xylem of the host plant and to get water and minerals from the host organism. Suppose this one is the host plant. Xylem helpful for water conduction and phloem helpful for food material conduction. But these parasitic hostorial roots are contact with the xylem. Hostorial roots are contact with the xylem of the host organism. So these plant only absorb water and minerals from the plant. These are known as partial parasites. Partial parasite, not complete parasite, partial parasite. Visgum is one of the best example for partial stem parasite. One, Striga. Striga is also one of the partial parasite, but this one is a partial root parasite. These both Visgum and Striga only send their roots into the host organism. Particularly these hostorial roots are contact with only xylem. Only xylem. So these plants get water and minerals from the host organism. Another one will other extend their roots into the both xylem and phloem. Some plants are hostorial roots contact with xylem and phloem of the host organism. So these plants absorb or obtain both water and food materials from the host plant. That means these plants contact with xylem and also contact with phloem. So these plants are known as a complete parasite because not only for water and minerals, they are also depend for their food materials. So these hostorial roots are also contact with phloem of the host organism. So these hostorial root get water and minerals and also food materials from the host organism. So this plant is completely depending on the host organism for their water and food materials. This type of plants are known as complete parasite. Complete parasite. So these complete parasites arise the hostorial roots and send to the host organism. These hostorial roots are contact both xylem and phloem, obtain both water and food materials from the host plant. This type of plants are known as complete parasite. Suppose Cuscuta. Cuscuta is one of the complete stem parasite. Complete stem parasite. One, Rafflesia. Rafflesia is a complete root parasite. The hostorials are contact with the host roots. Another one, assimilatory roots. Assimilation. Okay. In some plants, the roots have chlorophyllus. They consist chlorophyllus. They are become green in their color and perform photosynthesis to capture sunlight and convert it into the photon energy is converted into chemical energy. So in some plant, the roots have chlorophyllus, perform photosynthesis activity, assimilation process. The type of roots are known as photosynthetic roots or assimilatory roots. Photosynthetic roots or assimilatory roots. The best example is Taeniophyllum. Another root modification is reproductory roots. So, in some plants, root have reproductory buds. Reproductory buds on roots. These are helps in reproduction. So these roots are known as reproductory roots. You know already, Murraya konigi, karivepaku. Psidium plants and Murraya konigi both are consistent reproductory buds on their roots. Nodular roots. Nodular roots we already discussed in our stories roots. These nodular roots are consist of some nodules on secondary branches. Secondary roots. Okay. Root branches are consist of some nodules. These nodules are mainly formed by the activity of one of the bacteria. That one is a Rhizobium bacteria. Okay. This Rhizobium bacteria is a free living bacteria. These bacteria enter into the root by the entering of the Rhizobium bacteria. Some nodules are formed in the roots. So these are known as root nodules. These root nodules consist one of the Rhizobium bacteria. It is a symbiotic nitrogen fixation bacteria. Symbiotic nitrogen fixation bacteria. It captured the molecular nitrogen and converted it into ammonia. So this ammonia is helpful for the metabolic activity of the plant. So the root nodules are formed by the activity of Rhizobium bacteria. This Rhizobium bacteria helps in N2 fixation, nitrogen fixation. So this root nodule consists of one of the pigment, leg hemoglobin pigment. because of the presence of lucky hemoglobin pigment, there consists a nitrogenase enzyme. By the presence of nitrogenase enzyme, captured molecular nitrogen converted into ammonia. So, by the presence of nitrogen fixation symbiotic association bacteria, that one is Rhizobium, the roots consist some nodules. So, these are known as nodular roots. One, balancing roots. Balancing roots. These balancing roots are especially found in some hydrophytes. Okay. These roots are helps in bionts. So these are known as balancing roots. Best examples are Pistia and Eichhornias. Roots are buttress roots. These buttress roots are appear basal part of the stem, and also these roots are spread different direction in the soil. These roots are known as buttress roots. Best examples are Terminalia catappa. Roots are climbing roots. Already climbing, because the stem is very weak. The stem is not erect. The stem is weak. So these climbing roots are helpful for climbing. Okay, these are arised from the every nodal region. Every node is consist some advanced roots. These are helpful for climbing because the stem is very weak. Okay, the best examples are money plant, piper beetle, and also black piper. These are the different types of root modifications. Okay, by the performing secondary functions wise, the root is modified into different in their morphological structure and perform some additional functions. Okay, listen carefully and every point must write in your running notebook. Okay, thanks for watching.